Welcome back to the Growth Mindset Podcast, where we explore ideas and habits that help us become the best version of ourselves. I'm Michael.
And I'm Emma. Today, we're diving into a topic that everyone struggles with at some point: stepping out of your comfort zone.
Oh, this is such an important topic. We all love staying where things feel familiar and safe. But the truth is, real growth happens when we push ourselves beyond what feels comfortable.
Exactly. But let's be honest, stepping out of your comfort zone can feel terrifying. I mean, nobody wakes up one day and suddenly feels like taking big risks, right? It's something we have to build over time.
Yeah, it's a process. And I think the biggest obstacle is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. We tell ourselves, what if I fail? What if I embarrass myself? What if it doesn't work out? But instead, we should be asking, what if I never try? What if I'm missing out on something amazing?
That's such a great shift in perspective. And I think everyone has that one moment in life where they had to step outside their comfort zone, and it completely changed them.
Totally. For me, that moment was when I had to give a presentation in front of 500 people. I remember standing backstage. My hands were shaking. My heart was racing. I kept thinking, what if I forget what to say? What if people don't like it? But then I reminded myself, you prepared for this. You've got this. And once I stepped onto that stage, something shifted. I realized that the fear was only in my head. And you know what? It turned out to be one of the best experiences of my life.
Wow, that's inspiring. And it's so true. Most of our fears are created in our own minds. They're not as real as we think they are. And once we face them, we realize that we're stronger than we thought.
Exactly. But let's make this practical for our listeners. If someone is listening right now and thinking, I want to step out of my comfort zone, but I don't even know where to start, what advice would you give them?
Great question. I would say start small. You don't have to do something extreme right away. Maybe try something as simple as introducing yourself to someone new, trying a new activity, or even taking a different route to work. Small changes can build your confidence over time.
That's such a good point. And another thing I'd add is get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Growth happens when you're slightly uncomfortable. If everything feels easy, it probably means you're not challenging yourself enough.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, failure is not the enemy. People are so afraid of failing, but actually, failure is one of the best teachers. Every successful person has failed multiple times before they got it right.
100%. In fact, let's look at some famous examples. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became a success. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team before becoming one of the greatest players of all time. If they had given up after their first failure, they wouldn't be where they are today.
That's such an important reminder. And you know what? Another powerful thing is surrounding yourself with the right people. If you're around people who are always afraid to take risks, you'll absorb that energy. But if you spend time with people who are constantly pushing themselves, you'll feel inspired to do the same.
Yes, your environment plays a huge role in how much you're willing to challenge yourself. So if you're listening to this, ask yourself, are the people around me encouraging me to grow, or are they holding me back?
That's a great self-reflection question. And before we wrap up, let's leave our listeners with a challenge. Do one thing this week that pushes you out of your comfort zone. It doesn't have to be something huge. Just take one small step.
Yes, and if you do, let us know. Send us a message on Instagram or leave a comment. We'd love to hear your stories. That we've talked about the importance of stepping out of your comfort zone. Let's dive deeper into some key vocabulary that will help you understand this process even better. In our previous discussion, Emma and I mentioned some pretty powerful concepts, so let's break them down one by one. When we talk about your comfort zone, we mean the place where you feel safe and comfortable, but it might prevent you from growing. Imagine you always do the same thing every day, like waking up, going to work, and coming home. You feel comfortable, right? But if you never try new things, you won't grow. Next, stepping out of your comfort zone. This means doing something unfamiliar, something that might feel uncomfortable at first, but will help you grow as a person. Let's say you have to speak in front of a large group of people. It might make you nervous, but after you do it, you'll feel more confident and capable. Stepping out of your comfort zone helps you grow by facing new challenges. Next, a growth mindset is the belief that you can improve your abilities through hard work and learning. If you have a growth mindset, you see challenges as opportunities to learn, not as obstacles. For example, if you fail at something, you don't give up. Instead, you try again, learn from your mistakes, and keep improving. With a growth mindset, you believe that you can always get better by putting in effort. Let's talk about fear of failure next. This is a common fear that holds many people back. Fear of failure means being afraid of making mistakes or not succeeding, so you avoid trying new things. For example, Tom was too scared to apply for the job because he thought he might not get it. This is a perfect example of fear of failure stopping him from trying. So how do you take risks? Taking risks means doing something that might not have a clear outcome, but you do it anyway because it can lead to something good. For example, starting your own business is a risk. You might not know if it will succeed, but it can bring great rewards if you do it well. Overcoming challenges. Overcoming challenges means facing difficult situations and successfully getting through them. It builds strength and confidence. Overcoming challenges is how you grow stronger and more confident. And sometimes we need to reframing failure. Reframing failure means changing the way you think about failure. Instead of seeing it as a bad thing, you see it as a lesson that helps you improve. Failure is not the end, it's a learning opportunity. Lastly, let's talk about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. This idea means learning to handle uncomfortable situations because they help you grow. For example, at first you may feel nervous when learning to give presentations, but the more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become with it. That's it for today's episode. Remember, growth happens when you step beyond what feels comfortable. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.